Jags fans, it's your boy Ruben. We're gonna go ahead and just dive right in. All right, let's let's not mess around. We got upset, if you can call it an upset, by the Houston Texans. I'm sorry to sound so disgruntled, and it's because I saw a lot of this coming, with the exception of one thing. I didn't expect us to have a good season. Everything I saw in the offseason pointed to we're probably gonna have a bad season. Okay, but I expected to beat Deshaun Watson-less, J.J. Watt-less Houston Texans. I expected to beat them. I thought the Houston Texans were vying for the number one spot in the draft this year, and we lost. Now I feel like we might be in the running for that number one spot. So, what I see, we saw penalties, we saw rookie mistakes, we saw an undisciplined football team. Um, we saw just what looked like general unpreparedness. We were outcoached and outplayed in every facet of the game. And it's upsetting because that team that we played doesn't have remotely the amount of talent that we have on our roster. But I will say this: Tyrod Taylor looked good. I didn't expect that from Tyrod Taylor. They spread the ball out. Like, I saw a lot of four wide from Houston, which was something I didn't expect to see. Uh, but I also don't get paid to be a coach. But I will say, it was their attack was surprising. Tyrod Taylor gunning the ball to Brandon Cooks a few times. That was something you couldn't foresee coming. Tyrod Taylor has made a living from being a sort of game manager type, which I valued. I wanted him here over Nick Foles a few years ago. The guy can run with the ball, takes care of the ball, and at the time we remember we had the Saxonville defense. I thought that was the better move than paying Blake. Actually, to be honest with you, because I think he was available then too. Um, so you know, there wasn't a lot of positive, man. The only positives were you saw a few balls that Trevor Lawrence threw that like show you like this kid has the ability to be a good, if not great, NFL quarterback. And I know a lot of people that's going to rankle some nerves because a lot of people were in love with Trevor Lawrence. And I had a conversation with a friend where I was telling him that you're going to have to temper your expectations, because he was telling me he expected 35 touchdowns from Trevor Lawrence. And I told him, bro, I think you need to really take it down a notch. Now, he could get 35 touchdowns, but you got to remember he's a rookie. Here's the problem that I have with Trevor Lawrence, and if you've been following me long enough, then you know that I never fell in love with Trevor Lawrence, and that's not to say that he won't be good. It's not to say he won't even be great. But here's the problem with Trevor Lawrence. I see a lot of Peyton Manning with Trevor Lawrence. Peyton Manning is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. What's the problem? The problem with a guy like Peyton Manning being drafted to the Jaguars is the problem. When you draft a Peyton Manning type, okay, in which this guy, that's the thing. His attributes suggest Peyton Manning, and he can run, and that's what it's got everybody hype is. If you get in a lab and you're playing Madden, this is the quarterback that like you drool over. I created this kid. But the problem is, and the problem I had with Trevor Lawrence is he played in the ACC, didn't have a lot of competition, and when he played similar competition, he didn't quite look up to par. When you look at what Justin Fields did to that team playing against Trevor Lawrence. He played and he has an energy that galvanizes the troops. Like it's an it factor you just feel, right? And they smoked Clemson. And that's not Trevor Lawrence's fault, right? But it also happened in the LSU game, right? And look at Joe Burrow in Cincinnati. You can tell Joe Burrow has star potential, right? And that's not to say that Trevor Lawrence doesn't. But in that LSU game, if you go back and watch, they had a counter that I think he reached double-digit overthrows. He's one of those quarterbacks that if you get him off his spot, that his accuracy wanes. It comes and goes. Case in point, he's supposed to be able to run, right? Patrick Mahomes ran to the right, threw a pass to the left. Tyreek Hill caught it, touchdown. Okay, Patrick Mahomes makes a living off of making off-script plays. Russell Wilson does it. Lamar does it. You know, those guys are what I call like force multipliers, right? Trevor Lawrence, I'm not sure he's that guy, but he was supposed to be billed the second coming, and he can move. He's Peyton Manning but can run, right? But the problem I have with him is, so back to that play I was talking about. He's scrambling out. There's a wide receiver wide open. He even could have ran for yardage, but the wide receiver is wide open. Throws the ball, picked off by Vernon Hargreaves. And he was so off on this throw. The only way this throw was picked off is if you were really off. And that was concerning to me. That was a play that you make that you go, oh man, might have something special here if he makes that play. It seems to be like a routine kind of play that the special ones make. And that's where my concern is we're going to have to, he's the kind of guy that he's not quite the force multiplier that those other guys are. You're going to have to build a certain way around him. We got to have the O-line. We got to have the weapons. Ruben, every quarterback needs O-line of weapons. Well, Russell Wilson didn't. He still has a rough O-line. And you could say that's a rare case, but if you follow football enough, you can kind of tell the ones that kind of like it doesn't matter the situation. Like case in point, where I keep bringing up Justin Fields, the Bears don't have a bunch of weapons or an O-line, but I think, and when he starts, I think you'll see a lot of that potential. I think he can still lead the Bears to a playoff spot. That's how special I think Justin Fields is he doesn't require the great O-line and all the weapons that Trevor Lawrence is. Now, in a perfect situation where if we are able to build the O-line, a perfect O-line, and we're able to give him all the weapons, which I think we have plenty of weapons, right, and build around him, then yeah, I think he'll flourish. And is why I never fell in love with him. I don't think he's the kind of guy that can overcome his circumstance. He needs a lot of help in order for him to flourish. And that's not a knock. There's a lot of quarterbacks that need that. But I thought, a lot of people were billing him to be this special guy. So we'll see what happens. I don't want to get too deep into the back and forth with Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields. I was a Justin Fields guy. I'm gonna just go ahead and say that. I think Justin Fields' ceiling was perennial Pro Bowler special. I think Trevor Lawrence. I've said the thing about Trevor Lawrence is his floor. I don't think he has the ceiling of a Justin Fields, but his floor is definitely higher. Justin Fields could completely bust, and Trevor Lawrence. I think his floor is Derek Carr, and I've said that before. I know it upset a lot of people, but I'd like Derek Carr. He's just a guy that needs a lot of help in order for him to be effective. So the positives from the game, guys. I know we allowed 37 points, but I think we're going to be pretty good on defense. How do you figure you're going to be pretty good on defense? Because a lot of the plays that Houston made, first off, a lot of the things that happened looked like it was due to unpreparedness. I have faith in the fact that we'll be more prepared. I would like to think being embarrassed like that would lead to being more prepared. An emphasis on stopping the run has been made. I think we're going to be pretty good stopping the run, and in turn, we're going to be able to pass rush on third down, which is where Josh Allen makes his money. And I've been saying I think Josh Allen is going to be special. I think we're looking at Pro Bowl, perennial Pro Bowler when we're talking about Josh Allen. One sack he made on Tyrod Taylor. And Tyrod Taylor by no means is easy to run down from behind a sack. He had to come off, beat the blocker, come across, and run him down all the way on the other side of the field to get that sack. So that's kind of the kind of thing I'm talking about. Some of the balls that Tyrod Taylor just chucked up, a lot of guys, like we were in position to make plays on the ball and we just didn't. I'm a guy that I believe in, you know what, give me the talent, give me the athleticism, and we can coach those guys up. Those are coaching things. Those are discipline things. Rayshawn Jenkins, you keep throwing that ball up to Brandon Cooks. I would like to think is picking that ball off 4 times out of 5, and we just happen to get that one time. Tyson Campbell, he definitely needs to work on his ball skills. But the kid's always in range, in area. These are things that you can build on. So don't look at this season like, all right, we're going to make the playoffs. No, look at it like this. We have a number 1 pick at one corner, a number 2 pick at the other corner, and Shaquille Griffin, which I've never been in love with Shaquille Griffin, but he has a certain skill set. He ran a 4.3, he's 6'1". We got athletic corners. We have guys that can line up with with anybody. Now, what do we do with that? We have Rayshawn Jenkins that looks like a hammer. I want to see more Andre Cisco. He was somebody that I'm really high on that I think fixes a lot of deficiencies in the back end of the safety side of things. I think it was a mistake that we let go Gardner Minshew for a 6th-round pick. I think I really hope that we learn from some of our mistakes. Joe Schobert for a 6th-round pick. We gave up a lot of guys for a bag of chips. You don't think we could have got a 4th or a 5th from Washington now that they're down a quarterback? I just hope that we make better business decisions going forward, but just be looking for the progression. I couldn't even believe we got rid of Joe Schobert. I think he was our best linebacker last year. And that's not to knock Miles Jack, but it's time for Miles Jack to step up to his potential. We've been waiting for him to show, and he's a stud, don't get me wrong, but it's like he hasn't hit the peak we've expected from him yet. And this is the year that we got to see it, and we got to see it. This is the year. I mean, DJ Chark's coming up on a contract year. We got to see a lot of stuff go down, and I'm just looking for progress. We got the Broncos this week. With the way our tackles have looked, it should be very concerning, guys. The Broncos are, I think, a playoff team. They very well could be in the playoffs with the way they play defense, and if Teddy Bridgewater takes care of the ball. So, guys, I honestly don't think we win that game this weekend. I can't responsibly tell you that I expect to beat the Broncos after the way we look for the Houston Texans. That was supposed to be the easiest game that we had in like the first 4 weeks. So I don't see a potential win on our schedule to maybe the Titans. And you know our history with the Titans. So let's see what happens, guys. I'm going to let y'all go. Remember to like, subscribe, and get at your boy. Let me know what your takes are, what you guys think. Peace.